You're watching Weekend at Gabe's and I'm Weekend Gabe. This latest episode was brought to you by the good folks over at the Ghetto Flower. Use our code W@G for an exclusive 15% discount when visiting their site. Tell them I sent you. Now enjoy the show.
Joining us now all the way from the West Coast, she has a number of great records out, including her latest single, 1111. It's a privilege and super thankful to have Lo Artiz joining us tonight on Weekend at Gabe. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good, man.
It's so nice to see y'all.
Listen, we're excited to have you on. First off, well, I don't know if this is your first video and find anything on the internet, so we're really excited at being the first on camera. So I'm sure this is
on camera, guys.
So
I have to, every time there's a Weekend at Gabe's exclusive, I have to hit the siren, and this whole interview is a Weekend at Gabe's exclusive. I love it. I
love that. Yeah, it's super special. Thank you for having me.
we appreciate it. So let's go down your credentials: vocalist, producer, engineer, tarot card. I miss.
Tarot card, dog sitter from time to time.
That's a skill, yes.
Are you doing cats there too, or
yes?
Just
I throw in. Not many people want their cats taken care of. I don't mind it. I have a cat. He's slumbering. If I figure out how he's over there. But yes, I also dog sit on occasion. I wear many hats. Yeah.
I love
exactly. You got the new record out there, the new video, and the single 1111 just came out a little less than a month ago. The video is fantastic. I love the spirituality that you're expressed in the record, because I think that everyone has sort of been at that, that breaking point of uncertainty, looking for the universe, or we're like we were talking in our last interview, God, somebody sort of intervene, give us a signal, tell us that we're in a good space, or that we need to be saved. What was the inspiration behind that record itself?
So that was very much so the space I was in at the time, where I was just seeking anything, when you're at that point of like soul depth desperation, that you're just seeking things. You need to seek something outside of you, just to like grasp on to something here on earth, and that's very much so where I was at. And my entire family's from Miami. I'm in LA, so I'm very far from home. And I was talking to my older sister on the phone and just venting to her about where I was at emotionally, spiritually, just as a soul of a person. And she said to me, it sounds like you need to talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. And for some reason, I've heard that general message often throughout my life, but not in that way. And the way she worded it was just in such a way of reminding me that, like, oh, that's right, I have a choice. This thing's gonna pop off, and no matter what, I'm a human being. Like, I'm not gonna master that to the fullest potentiality as maybe other souls have when they've incarnated here. But just that phrase that she said had me like, okay, I want to roll with that. And I was also in a place where I had to stop performing, because a lot of the songs I was performing was so like, like, so at that point I was like, okay, if we're gonna write about we better find a way to write about it that like almost puts some kind of not a gloss, but like coats it, comforts it, hugs it, like it addresses it, but it doesn't leave the wound wide open at the end of the song, So
sure,
that's 1111.
I mean, it's been almost 2 years since Wild Woman came out, which was the last EP. Is that a little bit of why there was that gap? You just felt like you were bearing your soul and not healing from?
Yeah, it was. I mean, by the time Wild Woman came out, I had written all that music in like 2016, 2017. So I was performing it already for like 3 years. And a lot of the songs, some of them are a little more like sassy and fun, but a lot of them, in order to like properly perform it, you got to go somewhere. You can't like half that, you know, you can't
Yeah.
half-heart that. And it was very much so that gap of time was that those songs, just regurgitating that over and over was like, okay, I have so many other stories I need to tell, and I want to, that was good, that was a good period, but let's let's come here, let's catch everyone up to speed. It's still a little dark, but like way more hopeful.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the video and how that jumps off of what you just said. But let's talk about the title. Let's talk about 1111. We've had a lot of people on lately talking about angel numbers, and I will be the first to admit that I'm super ignorant about all this. I have no idea. So
That's awesome.
Can you explain the significance of 1111 to you and how it sort of intertwines in your life and why you felt like that was the title?
Yeah, so 1111, repeating numbers, numerology, right? I am very much a soul that's passionate about numerology and other modalities of spirituality and consciousness. 1111, significantly, it has a lot of meanings, but it's also almost like a subconscious trigger number, significant over all of the other repeated digits. So at that time when I'm like in survival mode, that was a number I was seeing a lot of the time. And not only is it this like, hey, come on, you got like something to do here, let's remember that, it's allowing that door of reconnection to soul purpose, you know? So a lot of times souls like myself that feel a lot of things, whether that's in cycles or whatever it looks like for you, at least for me, I think it helps a lot of us think about the bigger picture. Some people, it's the smaller things. For me, the idea of sharing my story and just via my passion of music, what keeps me tethered besides the obvious things of family and loved ones, you know? So I'm almost like trying to subconsciously awaken a few people that are listening to it that need it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
You also have the recent record that you dropped this year with Haunter. We're Gonna Be Okay. You're featured on that record. In the write-up for that, they talked a little bit about your sobriety and the substance abuse that you were going through. How can you talk a little bit like that? That seems to be coming around the time that you're getting the record out there, but like just over these records, and now it feels like you're kind of coming out of that dark. I don't want to use the dark period, but that space. So where the writing now seems to almost be in tune to your recovery as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would like to say I'm at like this beautiful middle point of an in-between, and the timing of the songs that are coming out, it's like giving the prologue and like catching you up to where we're at currently, at least with me as an artist and as a soul. I'm trying to think. You had two questions? What was the other question? I'm so sorry.
No, just like you said, like the way these records are coming out, they seem to be in sync with your recovery from substance abuse.
Yeah.
So, like, We're Gonna Be
I'm
Okay.
very
It
grateful.
seems like, yeah.
I have yet to have that where my audience is like on time with me. So it's really cool to have like more recent things or just messages that are current in my life that I'm battling, that I'm facing, that I'm alchemizing, you know?
Sure.
You spoke a little earlier off the back of that about, you know, being able to almost put a coat on this heart that you've pulled out of your chest a little bit. And I thought that was very evident in the video itself, in the creation of a video. And I'm sure that you understand this. But like, you know, we talk to artists a lot about, you know, merging their vision with a director's vision, and sort of what those things look like. But what struck me as I watched the video through was this just overwhelming sense of peace. And I think that was to do with the flowers, a little bit with the color palette that you chose there, but also just the general concept. You guys hopped in a car, something like a Toyota or a Honda Civic.
Hyundai Elantra.
Hey, we love it. And just this incredible array of flowers. And at certain times you're in the back seat, at certain times you're in the front seat, hanging out the window, smoking a cigarette, looking in the mirror. You know, it felt incredibly peaceful. Was that something that you had to convey to the director? Was that something that y'all met in the middle with?
I think via conveying every like still image I wanted to portray it, and her name's Whitney. Oh, and she was more than willing to go with. She was incredible to work with, and I didn't really have to even give much like backstory to each thing. She was just like, okay, if that's what you want there, that's what that means, cool, got it. And yeah, she gave me total free reign. So I love how naturally, overall, the intention was I wanted to convey beauty in darkness. So the fact that, you know, not everyone's gonna read into it the way I am, and I'm like, you know, that one's angled at 94 degrees because it means blah, 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 you know, whatever. Not everyone's thinking about it like that, like I am. So for someone from an outside perspective to even pick up on what I was trying to convey is wonderful. Yeah, she shot it so perfectly. She really conveyed what was on my mind. I had that in my head for like 2 years. So for her to be able to splash that on film is beautiful, yeah.
Hell yeah. And then obviously the flowers were a huge part of the video. I was curious, what inspires you about the natural world? I mean, obviously the last record, Wild Woman, and into this, I mean, you are very into spirituality and things like that, but certainly nature is a big part of it too. What inspiration do you get from that?
Oh my God, everything. I don't know how to encapsulate how do I spark notes this one? Essentially, I've always felt quite alien-like on this planet as a person. I just always felt like when people went this way, my natural step was that way, and I was always like, oh, okay, and trying to like just acclimate. Whereas everything at its root of earthliness I feel at home with. So I've always earth at its core. Everything else secondarily to that maybe is what I feel alien towards, but earth at its core is also just very healing for me as someone that deals with, you know, depression and anxiety and all of these things. Just walking in nature, just breathing, just being in clear space. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I have been known to hug a tree or two, you know, and they really do me great, you know. So it's my life source. It's my connection to, you know, as ugly as things can be on this planet, just as much as you can find of that, you can find beauty, and Earth is a constant evidence of that. So it's my fuel.
Real quick, one more for me. Weekend Gabe. Sorry to step on your question again, Gabe. But was that part of the? Do you credit that to growing up in Florida, in Miami? Was that something that you experienced, or was it something that was the exigence to move to LA? Obviously, the mountains and open spaces and hiking trails. That's what y'all do out there.
Yeah, definitely a bonus moving out to LA, but definitely Florida, growing up like by the beach and being able to go like camping up north. My dad is such a nature man. He was getting me and my sister to go fishing, to look at, you know, we'd be woken up at like 3 a.m. on like a Tuesday to go see some kind of constellation. This is why I am I am. I don't think that's what he intended, but that's what happened. And so I was naturally embedded with this appreciation for just like nature, and he's always trying to get us to do all like these activities and stuff. So I had a subconscious connectivity towards nature as a release or a modality of like just recentering, recalibrating, you know.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I want to get into something you said in the LA Voyage interview that you did earlier this year. and it was something to the effect of being, a Latin American woman, and how you're in this industry and you have to work twice as hard to make just as much as men, and that and what that pain and what that effect feels like. Has that begun to change a little bit? I know only a few months ago, but are you seeing that tide turn a little bit since you made that?
Over time, even since that comment, I see tiny increments of improvement in that. Unfortunately, the most rapid shift I see is when I do share in a room of maybe it's just like men in the room and music, and they figure out, oh, she doesn't just sing, like she plays instruments and she produces and she can mix engineer and she blah, blah, blah. Once they figure that out, it's a total 180. Unfortunately, sometimes that's what it takes. But overall, I think in just finally being at a place where I'm putting out this music, I'm gaining, I can see, and I'm very grateful for it, more receptivity towards just what I put into my work, and holding accountable the fact that I do have to put in way more juice than a lot of my colleagues that are men. But it's way more rewarding because of that.
We talked at the beginning of the interview about many hats, one of those being tarot reader. We're not going to do that tonight, but I will certainly circle back and we will do that
please do.
At some point in the future.
Yes, no, I'm serious.
But what I do want to talk about is starting, I believe, either tonight or maybe later this week, you are embarking on this play journey.
Oh, yeah!
The Legend of DC Colorado.
Yes!
So not just a dog sitter, but also a true actor on top of all that other stuff. Can you give us a little preview of what fans can expect coming out to that show and what role you're playing?
Yeah, so Legend of DC Colorado, written by these two incredible men named Christopher and Constantine, directed by Ale Mesa. It's set in a Western, and essentially these two boys come home to their mama being dead, and there's a note on her body from the killer, but they cannot read. And neither can anyone else in the town, apparently. So they have to go all the way around and find all these kooky, interesting characters trying to get someone to read this letter to figure out who done did it. And there's very interesting, it's honestly hilarious. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I play the mom. I play the witch, La Bruja, which wardrobe was from my closet, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I play a few little ensemble roles because we're a small cast, so a lot of us are doing I have 10 quick changes just for a character that has one line, but it's so fun. Yeah, Saturdays are official opening nights.
Incredible.
Congratulations.
And with that, it is time to get into our fun questions. I hope Weekend Gabe has some. I have 3. Gabe, do you want to kick us off? Do you want me to start? What are you feeling?
Go for it. Well, I'll close this out.
All right, we're diving right in.
Okay.
One of the lyrics on 1111 is "I will meet her when I'm through," and the line struck me because I immediately understood it. God is a woman. I understand that so well. But what I sat earlier today and thought to myself is why. And I don't think I've ever had anyone explain it to me why. I fully accept it as fact in my brain. But I would like to hear your opinion. Why is God a woman?
Oh, I love this. You're asking me. These are the fun questions. I'm not gonna lie. So I wonder how this will be received. So, God is a woman to me because in terms of consciousness, we talk about masculine energy and feminine energy, right? Now, this might blow some people's brains, but sometimes masculine energy and feminine energy doesn't necessarily correlate with sex. Mm-hmm. So masculine energy is very action-oriented, and feminine energy is like the seed, the creation energy when we talk about consciousness. So that in itself, I associate godliness, creator energy with feminine energy. So that's why for me, God is a woman. But that's just for me. And I think everyone, whatever I resonate with for that is beautiful. As long as you're not a horrible person.
Jury's still out on that one for me, but you know, that is actually makes a lot of sense. Another thing you mentioned in another interview were some of your inspirations, and Aretha Franklin's name came up, as well as Amy Winehouse, whose record is actually on my wall in the other room, because my girlfriend loves it. But my question was, you can meet either Aretha Franklin or Amy Winehouse for a day. Who are you picking?
I hope it's not insulting that this was really quick, because I love the both of them with all my heart and soul. They both have been so pivotal into who I am as an artist, but it would have to be Aretha. It would have to be Aretha. That's
wild, because the way you set that up, I definitely thought you were going Winehouse. So that came out of left field. Wow.
No, yeah, because I know a lot of people associate can compare me with Amy, which is a huge compliment. I definitely drew from her. I was stealing her CDs from my sister because I was banned from listening to Amy Winehouse when I was a kid, and I was stealing all her CDs. But Aretha, the first time I ever heard her voice was the reason why I was attempted to do the same thing. So
sure.
It would have to be Aretha.
Word. You got anything, Gabe? I got one last one.
Two quick ones, and they're correlated a little bit. Today you posted a video of yourself at the beach celebrating a couple years ago. So who has the best beaches, Miami or LA?
Oh,
that is a tough one. I know.
I don't want to get in trouble.
I know what I'm picking. I don't
want to get in trouble. You're saying beaches,
purely
specifically.
beaches. The answer is Miami.
Do we want to factor in litter or without litter?
That is a good question.
You can include any attributes that you want.
Okay. In terms of my enjoyability in water, it would have to be Miami because the water is way warmer. I didn't know that when I moved here.
That's geology. I didn't know that either, and I learned it in my geology class. Yes, that's.
I wish I learned it in that class. I learned it as I was going into the Pacific Ocean, and I realized, oh, that's right. This is a completely different body of water than where I'm coming up from. So in terms of that, Miami, but I tend to just energetically enjoy West Coast beaches more. Miami is I love her, but she can get a little rowdy, and I don't know if that's where I'm at all points of the day when I want to be at the beach. So yeah.
I feel you.
Word. Go ahead with the last one, Weekend Gabe, and I'm gonna.
No, that was it. That was my. It was a.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. All right. Last one from me. The song is 11:11. It's 11:11. And you say you're not supposed to make a wish and tell people, but what are you wishing for?
You're really gonna do that to me? You're really gonna do that to me? Oh man. But I can't. Okay. Well, something that I would say.
Yes. If you weren't tempting fate with the gods, you know.
Yeah. I would say. Oh, this is the first thing that came to my mind, and it was just buying my mom a house.
Wow.
That's the first thing that came to my head.
Man,
Lady deserves a house. She doesn't have to clean ever.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Lo Artiz, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Good luck on your opening this weekend. We can't wait to see some video or some content behind that whenever it's ready to come out. Yeah, the records are fantastic. You're fantastic. We hope to have you back in the future, or if you decide to tour and visit Chicago, please let us know.
Amazing. I will. Thank y'all so much for having me. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
You too. Lo Artiz here on Weekend at Gabe's. And that is going to wrap up our night, our week. We are in the can. Man, we did it again. Another great week of guests. You know?
Another great week of guests, Gabe. And it's like, just when you think it's getting boring, we're spicing it up, baby. You know what I mean? You know, we had everything tonight. We had a little bit of that hard school rap. We went literally, and this is, you can draw a line from one point to the other. We went from H.H. Holmes to
Right.
buying our mama house, you know, from murder castle to like wholesomeness. And I think that is something about this show that is very special. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been doing this show for 126 episodes, and we're going to have to spice it up. So next week, we got something special coming for y'all. We're not going to let you know what it is because, no, that's not how this shit works. But we are going to let you know who our guest is on Tuesday weekend. Gabe, give us a preview.
Listen, this one is going to be fantastic. We're able to grab her. Palestinian Chicagoan, Amira Jazira. She has some new records out. She's going to be joining us to talk about her new single.
Should be mentioned, Breaking Sound alumni, Amira Jazira.
Oh, fantastic.
Who performed pre-pandemic at our Chicago show. So shout out to her. And we're really looking forward to talking. And we may or may not have something else special planned for that Tuesday show because Weekend Gabe, as soon as we're done with that Tuesday show, we are headed to Bourbon on Division to see the homies Spicy Mike, Ronnie Rage, Bodie Z, all perform. And it's going to be a fantastic night. So as soon as that show wraps, catch us over at Bourbon on Division. Buy Weekend Gabe a drink, but everybody knows his drinks are already paid for because he has the best hair on the show. That is what it is. Ladies, buy him a drink. That is how it goes. I'm gonna get you killed by your wife today.
Exactly.
That's my plan.
Like, who buying you drinks?
But ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to bring you Weekend at Gabe's, brought to you by the Ghetto Flower. Right now, you can go on their website, get 15% off with our code W@G, or you can show up in person and grab one of the varsity jackets at Fortune House Chicago. I believe it's 4400 South. Not exactly sure on the address. Gabe, you got something?
410 South, 45 Grove on Chicago's South Side.
Boom.
West side.
And if you show up, you will be doing the main tenets of this show. And we have 3 tenets on the show. And what are they, Weekend Gabe?
Listen, share, support, and show love. We got to take her down.
We got to take her down. Look at it go. It just keeps on scrolling. Look at it. It's just going along. Sharing, supporting, and showing love. Every day. Non-stop. 10 times out of 10. America. It's another week of shows. We did it again. Number 1 in the streets, number 2 in your heart.
We're out. Enjoy your weekend. See you next.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of Weekend at Games on YouTube, brought to you by the Ghetto Flower. Make sure to also click on the links in the description for more information to our guests and access to exclusive new music from the Ghetto Flower and so much more. Make sure to also like and subscribe to the show, and also continue to share, support, and show love by clicking on any of the links surrounding my head. Thanks for watching.